house always wins. Play long enough, you never change the stakes. The house takes you. Unless, when that perfect hand comes along, you bet big, and then you take the house. Been practicing this good. A little bit. Did I rush it? Felt like I rushed.
That was good. I liked it.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Big Easy Bets podcast. I'm your host, Logan. With me in the studio, Nick Von Brick.
Yo.
Man in the controls, we have Bam.
Yo.
Episode 229, week 0 is finally here. Meaningful football. We're back. We did all of our conference breakdowns for the NFL and college football, but now we finally get to sit down and talk about individual games that mean something. Hit the like and subscribe button if you don't mind. We got a couple things to dive into. We'll recap our Vegas trip and then just a couple things that happened in between the last time we recorded and now. How are you feeling? Are you doing your annual not back yet? And I don't care.
I'm ready, man. I'm just ready for I know what I'm doing now from this weekend for 25 weeks.
Yeah. No, it's great. That's what I've always said. If you don't have a hobby, if you don't have something that you enjoy doing, this is all I want to do, and it's all I think about doing when it's not here. So as soon as football season and then March Madness, obviously, as soon as that's over, I'm counting down the days until it's back. And that's what's great about it, though. That's what I've grown to realize as I've gotten older is you need that. You need the time in between, because if it was nonstop football, college basketball, you would get tired of it. But it's the summer months where you're like, this fucking sucks. All they have on is baseball. It's the distance, what makes the heart grow fonder, whatever they say. You need the absence. It makes you want it more. And then when it's back, that's the beauty of doing this too, is every single year I have those things that I look forward to. Start of college football, the Super Bowl, obviously bowl season's great, but the Super Bowl, March Madness, all of these things that I get excited for and I look forward to. So there's people that go throughout their entire lives just having fucking nothing to look forward to. It's a miserable life, and I'm glad I don't have to live that. Again, hit the like and subscribe button if you don't mind. Bam is incentivized this year. Bam has helped us out in years past for free, which we appreciate. So I decided to tell Bam that he'll be compensated for his services this year, but it'll hinge on he'll be able to make more if he goes positive. At least one pick a week. Did we cap it at one?
Is that one in NFL and one in college?
Yeah. And so you could always do another one if you wanted. You can't get crazy. And if you're doing great, you want to give out more picks, sure. If you're doing bad, you don't just get to come in and fire off fucking 10 picks and try to get out the gutter. We got to stay consistent. If you're doing real bad, you're one a week. I don't advise anyone to listen to what Bam has to say until he proves that he deserves to be listened to. So if you want to tail Bam, do it at your own risk. If he gets hot, then we'll pump him up for sure. But Bam's incentivized this year. I'm feeling good. I'm ready to go. I've been, like I said, been waiting on it. This is going to be a huge year. Obviously, this is our first time entering into the Circa Millions contest. We just got back from Vegas about a week and a half ago. Circa Millions, there's the Circa Millions and the Survivor. They just recently rolled out the Grandissimo, which is Survivor, but it's a $100,000 entry. So they got like fucking 16 entries right now. There's not that many people. Not that many people running to the desk to go enter into that one. But so we decided to go with the Circa Millions. It's 5 NFL picks a week against the spread. Whoever has the most points when it's all said and done. First place gets $1 million. You get 1 point for a correct pick, a half point for a push, no points for a loss. We're going to see what we can do. We've had years in the past where we've gotten very hot, you more than me. But I will say I feel like I've turned a corner. And this year, we're going to find out. I told you that. Really, it was ever since my wife said that I'm not good at betting on sports. And then I just started fucking taking that rat bookie for everything he had. We hit bowl season, and we hit an all-time heater. We had a good college basketball season. Things have just – I think I've turned a corner. I flipped a switch, and we're going to see if that's the case going into this football season. But it's also another year where we've tried to – We're really trying to take a more analytical approach this season, so we're going to see if it pays dividends. But I'm very optimistic about this year. I'll just leave it at that. So yeah, we went to Vegas. What were your thoughts? Yeah, it's that kind of sums it up. It's like, what are you there to do? Because a lot of what you go there to do, we could do you go to the Beau Rivage in Biloxi, and it's pretty nice there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not a 5-star. Maybe it is. I don't fucking know. I doubt it. But it doesn't have the Bellagio fountains, let's put it that way. But you've got a nice gambling floor and blackjack and this and that. Vegas more has that appeal of like, it's fucking Vegas. But then, yeah, you get there and you're like, kind of a dump outside of the like I said, I put a video out about it, like very short, just talking about it. Outside of the 5-star hotels, it's like a third world country. And a lot of times you're going to see zombies walking around. So we saw one guy who was missing an arm, but it was like they cut his hand off and glued it to his shoulder. You remember him walking a brunch? Like, that was like a science experiment going wrong. And we just kind of walked past that. Like, that might have been the guy who asked Reed for his Cash App, and he got super pissed. He got really offended. If not, that guy was sitting in the same spot. Poor Reed doesn't know how to. He's 20, just turned 21, went to Vegas. He doesn't know how to speak to the homeless. So they're asking him, like, you got a quarter? He's like, no. You got $1? He said, you got a quarter? He said, no. He said, do you have $100? And then he asked him for his Cash App, and he's like, I'll never fucking give you my Cash App. Reed couldn't process that. They're mentally ill, pal. Just let them just go. But yeah, one guy, imagine, cut his arm off at the shoulder and then chopped his hand off and then super glued it back to his shoulder. Almost like a wing. I don't know. It was weird, and we didn't even talk about it. And I had been thinking about it a lot. I don't know how that happened. Like, is that a birth defect? What a terrible luck of the draw that, one, you have that birth defect, but two, you've got parents that let you wind up fucking on the Vegas streets. That poor guy was failed.
I think the funniest homeless experience was the video Nick took.
Oh yeah, you were jogging. Yeah, Nick went out jogging early in the morning, and then you got verbally assaulted by somebody who was having a bad morning, I guess. We posted that video, though, too. But then we saw a guy drink a milkshake out of the fucking trash can. That was the wildest one, where I watched that from like a quarter mile away. We're walking towards this guy. I see him, like, wake up, and he starts digging in the trash can, and it's hot as fuck in Vegas. So, of all things in the trash can, to grab something dairy-based, crazy move. And he looked at it for a while and then said, fuck it, and drank it. I could not believe it. That, like, you feel, it's like, oh, these are real homeless people. You know what I mean? Like, that was almost like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's like, that's the real deal. That's what you see in the movies. Like, that's a real homeless person that he just drank a who knows how many day old milkshake that's been sitting out in 110 degree heat. So, like I said, I don't know if that's what I would have chose, but more power to him, I guess. Let's talk UFC. Bam, what did you think of Vegas? That was your first time there?
That was my first time there. And I would go back solely for that brunch buffet.
Yeah, I made a point that we had to go to the Wynn brunch buffet because I've heard very good things about it, and it lived up to the hype. We went twice. $65 brunch buffet. We went 2 days in a row. I would have gone every single day that I was there. I've been thinking about it pretty much every day. I'm not even kidding. It was so good. That's got to be the best buffet. It's the best buffet I've ever been to. Have you been to better?
No.
Everything was good. There was not one single bad thing that you could choose from. Yeah, that'll get me back there for sure. Whether we do well in Circa Millions or not, I would imagine we're going to go back and enter in again. I will be back at the Wynn brunch buffet for sure. And that was one thing. We checked all the boxes of what I wanted to do going to Vegas. I said I wanted to enter into the contest. We did that. I wanted to eat good food. We did that. And then we got to play, and I honestly did very well playing blackjack. The sports betting side of things, betting on goddamn preseason games did me in. But blackjack went very well. We ate good food. The dumpling place was fire, I thought. I thought that was pretty damn good. So it's like, I don't know. You felt like it's just not what you think it's going to be. It's not The Hangover. And that's what I think a lot of people expect it to be. You have to be a real fucking degenerate to have a hangover experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, for the most part, it's just not. Unless you have a shitload of money and you want to go do all the nightclub, get a section, and get bottle service, and then go flirt with getting arrested, you're not going to have, like, a hangover experience. So, but no, I do love Vegas. It's like a love-hate relationship where it's not all it's cracked up to be, and it's kind of a dump, and it's probably fallen off significantly to where, like, it's glory days. But it's still Vegas. So if you like gambling, that's the land of opportunity. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's talk UFC 319. Mainly the main event. I just wanted to know what y'all's thoughts were. Were you I don't know how to word this. Were you disappointed with the final fight?
I don't know. I'm kind of on both sides of it, where, yeah, I thought it was hella boring, but it was like,
referencing, just for people that don't know, the Khamzat Chimaev versus Dricus du Plessis, the main event where Chimaev basically ragdolled him for 5 rounds.
Yeah, it became apparent quickly that, Buddy had no chance.
Like 20 seconds in.
Yeah.
The thing is, so the people that are like, oh, this is terrible, it's bad for the UFC, and Dana White must hate. Bro, it's mixed martial arts. You just got to see back-to-back spinning elbow KOs before that fight. And that's where I have a problem with everybody complaining, because it wasn't like so Khamzat could have done more. He could have tried to go for the submission, but you got to put yourself in harm's way to do that. But the ferocity of which he was, like, the one-sidedness of that fight, I look at it from the standpoint of, like, it's incredibly impressive that he's able to do that, because Dricus is a big-ass dude. That's a gigantic man. He ragdolled him for 5 rounds. He put him in a crucifix 4 rounds in a row. I've never seen that before. So that was where it's like, I literally was saying, like, he's gonna break his will to fight. And I'm credit to Dricus for it not happening. But to get put in a crucifix 4 rounds in a row, after 2, you got to be like, geez. Or even after the first one, you're like, God damn it, I'm here again. The 4th time, you got to be like, I can do nothing. He would kill me. If we're in the wild, you're dead. He put you in a fucking crucifix 4 times. Chimaev is it's like we talk about with Max Holloway, where he has this just zero fear, points to the ground. He does not care about getting clipped, whereas other people have that 1% of fear or more than that, and that's the difference. With Khamzat, it's almost like he's a robot, where it's like it's just the objective at hand, whether that's to kill or get a takedown. The relentlessness of him shooting for the takedown, and then as soon as he doesn't get it right away, he's already going to the back, and it's just crazy, the, like, tenacity that he has. People can't match it, or at least Dricus couldn't. So we saw Kamaru Usman do pretty well. Gilbert Burns, but Gilbert Burns has incredible jiu-jitsu and had a guard that Khamzat didn't want any trouble with. I don't look at that as like, oh, this is boring and this is ridiculous. I was very excited for that fight because I felt like du Plessis could weather the storm, and he kind of did, I guess. Like, he didn't get put away when he was in the first crucifix, but I guess I can see where it's like, yeah, you would like Khamzat to be a little bit more active, I guess. But I was just kind of like blown away that he was able to do it that dominantly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I literally put on Twitter, I was like, how many civilians? And I think this is a legitimate question. How many civilians, one by one, so you got a line of people, and Chimaev's in a room, one by one, you go in. How many people could he kill in a row?
A lot.
Like, what do you think?
Over 100.
I think it's until he, like, dies of hunger or, like
just a regular person?
Dehydration.
Like any of us three?
Yeah, like take everyone in the neighborhood and line us up. Yeah. I think he could go through every single person because he took him down in 10 seconds and had him in a crucifix. So if you're going for the kill, you're just choking. A civilian, you could choke the life out of him. I literally think it would be until he died of starvation. Like, and couldn't get food and water. Like, what do you, I truly, I don't think that there's like, because he was able to do it so effortlessly and expend such little energy against the champion of the fucking division. So, like, if I had to go in there, it's like, fuck. And he's taken 3 breaths and I'm done. So.
Yeah, it would be like an average 20-second kill rate per civilian.
Well, dude, it's like 10 seconds into the first round, he had Duplessis on the ground. It's like, oh my fucking God. So I literally think it would be thousands of people before. Like, you'd have to hope he shot for a takedown and fucking tore his ACL. And then even then, you're fucked. And then it's like the guy 20 people later, after it, like the wear and tear of it, it just gives out. Like, you would have to hope for like an act of God. You know what I mean? I was thinking about that probably longer than I should have, but I think it's thousands of people. I really do. I think he could kill thousands of civilians if it's a one-on-one fight.
Yeah.
Dude, he I don't know. He's just insane. And that's what's impressive to me, is just how outmatched he made Dricus look. And this is a guy who's the champion of the division. Dude, Hamzat's literally like the boogeyman. Nobody wants to fucking fight him.
Yeah, I knew Buddy was going to be in trouble when when Hamzat picked up DC and spun him around like that.
Yeah, like the day before the fight. When
I was like, all right, he's
like,
picking up fucking DC, who's probably like fucking 280 pounds.
And DC was like, what the hell? He's like, no one's ever done that before. And he's doing that when he like should be conserving energy and like cutting weight. Yeah, they're different over there, dude. That's really what it is. So I don't know. If you don't like that style of fighting, don't watch the middleweight division for the next however long this guy wants to fight for. Because, I mean, Usman put up a really solid fight against him. Gilbert Burns, I thought, put up a solid fight against him. Other than that, what do you do? To him and Usman, I don't know. I know they got there's a couple guys in the wings that have solid wrestling that'll be interesting matchups. But you would have expected Dricus to come in with some ability to stuff a fucking takedown. He didn't get. He maybe got one. He got taken down 12 times.
Yeah, and the odds of that fight, I mean, what was he, like a minus 270 favorite?
Yeah, should have bet every
Fucking
fuck. You knew the people who bet on him in 10 seconds are like, yes. Like, that was the question. Is Duplessis going to be able to stuff a takedown? And he got him so fucking easily that it was like, oh, yeah, it's over. It's over. It's literally, you have a puncher's chance. That's it. You have to catch him with a big shot at the very start of the round. And honestly, dude, Hamzat, he'll eat shots. That's his problem. But like, his striking doesn't look horrible. Like, a couple of the head kicks he threw, it was like, okay, it's not like he's a fish out of water on the feet, but I do think he just doesn't like move his head at all. So he can get caught. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not in the camp of like, oh, that's bad for the UFC. That's what you need, the different type of people that are dominant like that. And I guess Habib kind of rolled in the era of all those Dagestanis and Chechnyans who are incredible wrestlers. And we haven't met the match of that yet. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But that's the beauty of it. Somebody's got to fucking figure it out. So we'll touch on the Saints real quick. Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shuck are firmly in the midst of a quarterback battle to see who's going to be the starter for the Saints. Where are you at currently, Shuck or Rattler?
I would still go with Shuck.
Okay. Bam, where are you at, Shuck or Rattler, if you had to pick today?
Rattler.
Okay. I think if I had to say my life depended on it and we had to go win one football game, I would probably go with Rattler. But Rattler, in my opinion, has not done enough to separate himself. No one's had success against the ones. Either of the two guys' success have come against the second and third string. Tyler Shuck threw the pick six. He responded with a beautiful deep ball for a touchdown, literally the very next drive. Spencer Rattler obviously had the moment of the preseason so far after throwing an interception, which Tipton came out and said that was on him for not running through the route. Spencer Rattler comes right back, leads a game-tying drive, and picks up the 2-point conversion with his legs. But again, the success has come against the backups. The red zone woes for Rattler are worrisome. I just think you've spent the draft pick on Tyler Shuck, and he's already older. I don't think Spencer Rattler has done enough to go, wow, he is significantly better and gives us a significantly better chance of winning games. So I think you go with Shuck. Unless somebody comes out, which I don't think they will. It's like, I really don't think. It's just, there's just not enough there, in my opinion. Shuck has the size. He has extremely good arm talent, and he's mobile enough to move around in the pocket and make things happen with his legs, too. So Rattler's probably a little bit more mobile, but Shuck is right there, dude. He's not given enough credit for how mobile he is for his size. I just think with the spending the draft pick on him and where he's at with his age already, you got to see what you have. You got to see if he can do something, and then we may turn right back around and be in the quarterback market next season. It just feels like with Rattler, you know who he is. And that may not be fair because he's only in, his second season. It just feels like you can see what his ceiling is, whereas with Tyler Shuck, it feels like there's much more potential to reach new heights, I guess. And you got to kind of kick the tires and see if you can get that out of him, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You agree?
Yeah, I think either way, we're probably screwed, but
no, when I say if I had to pick one for my life, I'm dead regardless. We're going to be horrible. So, yes, either way, we probably are screwed.
But yeah, I think just what you said. I mean, I think there's just more upside with Shuck. So you drafted him. You spent a good pick on him. It's like,
yeah,
I'd throw him to the fire and see what he's made of. And then if he sucks, then next year draft another guy.
And that guy might be Arch Manning, which will bring me to my next thing. I texted you asking if you saw what Arch said. So they questioned him about Archie Manning, his grandpa, Saints legend, who said, no, he's going to be returning after this. He's going to play this season, and he's coming back to Texas for another season. Well, Arch was in an interview and said, yeah, I don't know where he got that from. And he said he reached out to him. Archie reached out to Arch and apologized for saying that. That leads me to believe that this motherfucker's coming out. That's not a guarantee that he's going back to school. So we'll see how the season goes. That's what that leads me to believe, is that if he lights it up this year, say Texas wins a national championship and Arch Manning lit it the fuck up, he's coming out. If you're going to be the first overall pick, he's coming out. And that's what I said. I've had this discussion with a lot of different people. You don't pass up the number one overall pick because you don't know what's going to happen the next year. You could blow his knee out.
Yeah.
Something horrific could happen. When you're going number one, you take that while you can. So I would be surprised. So if he comes out and struggles and they're like, oh, he projected to go third, fourth best quarterback, whatever, then maybe he does come back for another year and keeps working on his game. But yeah, if he's projected number one overall pick, you're a New Orleans Saint, pal. So shove it up your ass, Archie. Stop fucking. They want him to go back for another year. Too damn bad. Anthony Richardson has been benched for Daniel Jones. What do you need?
Oh, I don't know where the hell my phone went, but I don't need it.
I don't think it's even in here.
It's somewhere.
Oh, is it? Throw it to him. Jesus Christ.
That's a good toss.
All right, yeah,
That was
Richardson's
on you.
benched. Great.
Yeah, so Anthony Richardson has been benched for Daniel Jones. You've hitched your wagon, Anthony Richardson, in our quarterback bet, which I guess we're not going to have one, which is crazy going into this year that you decided to kill that. You disagree?
These quarterbacks suck. I'm not hitching my wagon to any of them.
I was willing to, though.
Yeah, you wanted Shuck for Sanders.
Dude, that's not looking that crazy now.
Sanders sucks.
Sanders is gonna get a chance because the Browns are gonna be terrible. They're gonna play all those motherfuckers this year. But yeah, But I said that before Shador fell.
Yeah, and before the Saints drafted Shuck.
So that was pretty. That's what I'm saying. I'm willing to take chances on some of these. That Shador was expected to go ahead of Shuck at that point.
Yeah, kind of, sort of.
There was rumblings. Shuck was moving up, and he was being talked about as a guy that could go higher. Yes. But it wasn't like, oh, clearly Shuck's going to be a starter, Shador's not, and I'm trying to take like the likely option to have a chance for the Pro Bowl. So yeah, I was willing to fucking take a swing. I took a swing on Kenny Pickett. I took a swing on Hendon Hooker. So, and then Jaden Daniels. I mean, we don't have to rehash that, but yeah, I guess we're not going to have one this year. So, where were we? What were we fucking saying? Yeah, Anthony Richardson is benched for Daniel Jones, which I think is a crazy move. I think this is self-preservation for Shane Steichen, and that mainly for Shane Steichen, I guess. Because there's no reason that you go to Daniel Jones over Anthony Richardson unless, I mean, let me rephrase that. Anthony Richardson fucking sucks. I've been saying this for a long time. You thought he was going to be Cam Newton. He stinks. And it's clear he stinks. But Daniel Jones is who he is at this point. Anthony Richardson still has crazy athleticism. If he could somehow figure out how to throw the ball in the vicinity of his wide receivers, he could be good. I don't think he's going to ever figure that out. But I think you go to Daniel Jones to try to win 8 or 9 games and keep your job. Because if it was like long-term, what we're trying to do here, then you try to continue to develop Anthony Richardson, who has very few reps under his belt compared to some of the other guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you think they're making the right decision?
I think to win, yeah.
Yeah.
I think Jones gives them a better chance to win games.
No, I agree because they have
not good.
Yeah, and they have a good running back in Jonathan Taylor. You've got weapons. A.D. Mitchell. Who do they have? Downs. They just drafted Tyler Warren, right? So you have some weapons. You have a solid defense. It's not like the team's terrible. They're not the Browns. So they just took a swing, an expensive swing on a quarterback who can't play quarterback, on a tight end basically. So I would start saying we're going to send you on jet sweeps and we're going to do trick plays. Maybe we'll let you throw it, but don't. And then try to put him into the offense.
Yeah,
I
Richardson
guess.
can always make the Pro Bowl as a non-quarterback.
Well, it's a quarterback bet.
It's just first to make the Pro Bowl.
Well, we didn't put those stipulations in. We were betting on quarterbacks. Then you got to let me pick a tight end. I just think it's an interesting move, though. I had him rated as my worst quarterback in the league, starting quarterback, and now he's not. So, I literally am going to probably put Daniel Jones a couple spots. I would probably put Daniel Jones above Tyler Shock.
Yeah, and it's not like Jones was set up for success in New York.
And he showed flashes here and there, I guess. He can be mobile, too, if he can. I don't know. We'll see. It's not a good quarterback situation for him, but it is interesting that now Anthony Richardson, he came out in that preseason game and you wanted to see some improvement, and then he just got fucking lit up, had no idea the blitz was coming, and then everybody did a lap on ESPN talking about how this is rudimentary day one protection stuff, that he should have known that guy was hot, and he didn't. Dislocated his fucking pinky finger to add insult to injury. It's just been a rough go for Anthony Richardson, and you never know how it plays out. People keep saying, oh, Sean McVay's going to get him, and he's going to fucking turn him into a perennial Pro Bowler, which would suck. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens with old Anthony Richardson, but it does not look good right now. Last thing before we get to the games. Have y'all watched the Cowboys documentary at all?
No.
It's about Jerry Jones buying the team in the 90s Cowboys. A couple things stuck out. I've only watched 2 episodes so far. Jimmy Johnson, when he became the coach of the Cowboys, it wasn't good in the beginning. I think they went 1-15. And then he was like, we got to do something around here. And he told Jerry Jones, he's like, I'm all in. He moved a couple blocks away from the facility, and he divorced his wife of 26 years. He said, I had to be on my own. And it's like, that just sounds like you wanted to divorce your wife, and you're using that as an excuse. And granted, maybe she was holding you back because they formed the dynasty. But it's like, that means she was your wife through the run in Miami, winning fucking titles there. I just thought that was crazy. He's like, yeah, 26 years. You got to go. I'm the coach of the Cowboys now. What was she doing? But then there was a scene where they're talking about him at practice and how tough he was on the players and this and that, and they're running 110s, and one guy fell out and he's on his back, and he's like, what the hell are you doing? He's like, Coach, I got asthma. He said, you're on the wrong damn field for asthma. The asthma field's over there. Get the fuck off the field. And then they cut him. I'm like, why are you playing professional football if you have asthma and you can't fucking run? But it was just funny. They're like, yeah, they're like, he was an asshole. I don't know, you're on the wrong field. The asthma field's over there. It's worth watching, I think. It's been pretty good so far. But, all right. We turn our attention to college football week 0. A big game right out the gates. Iowa State, Kansas State. Number 22 versus number 17 in Dublin. Kansas State is 3-point favorites. The total sits at 49.5. I figure we do no locks this week. Very limited slate, so we'll give our picks. We'll let Bam give his pick at the end, but no locks. We'll start locks next week for week 1, which I was telling Nick, I'm looking at this week 1 slate, and all I can see is winners. And it's dangerous. And I started to kind of have to pump the brakes. I started scratching some out of some that I was considering. Which way are you leaning?
I don't know now.
Okay, why is that?
Just after kind of breaking it down, these teams, they played final week of the regular season last year, and really neither one of the quarterbacks were prolific passers, although they both accounted for 3 touchdowns. They both completed less than 50% of their passes. It was kind of a misfortunate start for Kansas State. 2 early turnovers resulted in Iowa State touchdowns early in the game, and then 3-point game headed into the fourth quarter. Avery Johnson takes a safety, gets caught with an intentional grounding in the end zone, and after that, Kansas State wasn't really able to put any more drives together. But
it was like an 8-point win for Iowa State, right?
Yeah, 29-21. Iowa State won, and then clinched a spot in the Big 12 title game against Arizona State. But just overall, like, taking that game into consideration, it's like Kansas State had some bad momentum plays early offensively, and then still found a way to battle back into the game. So I mean, I guess that's a plus for Kansas State, but then you kind of go look through the box score and the statistics. Both teams had success running the ball. Kansas State loses their top rusher from last year. DJ Giddens goes to the Colts, I think. He got drafted by the Colts.
Yeah.
And Iowa State, man, they returned both of their running backs. Not that they're like star-studded running backs like Giddens was, but I don't know. There's just so many question marks here. I think Rocco Becht, without his wide receivers, the 1,000-yard receivers from last year, I think there's still a lot of question marks there. I thought he just looked okay when he had those players around him.
Yeah.
Now that he doesn't, I'm kind of thinking that he's going to not be as good. And then Avery Johnson, I still have big question marks about him throwing the football, even though he's an ultra-talented running player from the quarterback position.
So are you going no play?
I don't know yet.
Okay. Well, you got like fucking couple minutes to
Are you
figure
going
it out.
with a play?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Okay.
It's fucking first game of week 0. Yeah, so that was the first thing I wrote down. Is Avery Johnson ready to take the next step as a quarterback? If so, Kansas State's going to be a very solid team this year, and they could very well win the Big 12. But that's a big if. Like Nick said, we know what he can do with his legs. He is dynamic with his legs. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's addition by subtraction that they lose DJ Giddens, who was a very good running back, over 1,000 yards. But I really, really like Dylan Edwards. And if this means more touches for Dylan Edwards, I think if they wanted to get a little crazy, they could do some interesting things with Avery Johnson's legs and Dylan Edwards as well. I think they tried to turn Avery Johnson into a pocket passer. And you got to let him do what he's meant to do. So if he can take that step as a passer, because there was plenty of opportunities where there was receivers running wide open down the field and he airmails it. If you hit a couple of those, it's going to be a completely different season for Avery Johnson. Iowa State struggled to stop the run last year, ranking 105th, giving up nearly 190 yards per game. They do lose their top 2 tacklers in Freeler and Verdon. Bo Freeler was a very good safety. Turnovers were the difference. If I remember looking correctly through the box score between the game that you mentioned, I want to say Kansas State outgained them in that one by around 50 yards. The 2 turnovers right off the bat put them behind the 8 ball, and then like you mentioned with the safety, I think it's some unfortunate bounces for Kansas State were the difference in that game. And Dylan Edwards was battling through an injury. He only had 3 carries. So the combo of Johnson and Edwards, like I just mentioned, I think could give the Cyclones trouble when you get the ball in Dylan Edwards' hands. He's very dynamic. Last year's defense, if you want to look at Pro Football Focus, Iowa State graded out number 120 at stopping the run. I think Kansas State's going to be able to lean on the run in this one, hit the deep balls when they're available. I think they have the best defensive player on the field in Austin Romaine, who's arguably the best linebacker in the country. We're going to go -3. We're going to lay 3 points with the Wildcats here in Dublin. It's like you mentioned with Rocco Becht. I agree. He doesn't really do it for me, and he had great wide receivers. So until you see that they're going to step up and fill the holes left by 2,000-yard wide receivers that I want to say they got drafted both to the same team, if I remember correctly. I just got to see it, and I'm not a huge Matt Campbell fan. I've said that for years. I just at 3 points, I'm going to take Kansas State. So historically, though, week 0 has not been good to us. Last year, if you remember, because we're very, very transparent on this show. We had Florida State, and God, they fucking had a great first drive, and that was about as good. That was the best thing they did all season, and it just went south quick. And then Brent Key hit him with run the damn ball the rest of the game. But yeah, I'm going to lay the 3 points with the Wildcats here in Dublin. I just think that you'd have to imagine Avery Johnson's going to show some improvement as a passer. So I'm going to bank on that. I think people have higher hopes for Kansas State going throughout this season.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, it's like, I think initially coming into this game, I was leaning Kansas State, and then we see a little bit of money come in on Iowa State, knock it back down to 3. I'd be surprised if like more money came in and moved this line even more, but
it's been bouncing back and forth though. It touched 4 at one point.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking it's gonna hang out around 3, but yeah, you mentioned Dylan Edwards, also the guy Joe Jackson, who hasn't really gotten a whole lot of opportunity being behind Giddens. Only had 39 carries last year at 5.8 yards per rush. So he'll probably fill that role of that bruising back. And then, I think Dylan Edwards is a great player as well. And then at the wide receiver position, they kind of added some size over there. They returned their top receiver, though, a deep threat guy. I guess we'll go with Kansas State and give Avery Johnson one last chance.
Yeah, Jace Brown. That's a good point. Jace Brown's back.
He had 2 touchdowns in the Iowa State game last year.
Yeah, he averaged almost 18 yards of reception. So he's
And then the tight end Garrett Oakley, also a red zone threat, 5 touchdowns last season.
Yeah.
So,
the biggest thing here, look, if I had to lean aside on the total, it would definitely be the over. I think the question mark's going to be, do the receivers fill the void left from Higgins and the guys from last year for Iowa State? And is Rocco Becht able to move the ball through the air? I think on the ground, I'm very interested to see, because Austin Romaine's a serious linebacker. So is the secondary for Kansas State going to be able to hold their own, or is Iowa State going to be able to throw the ball? I think I would lean over. I think we could see some points in this one, but I'll just go with the Wildcats -3. I just got to go. I'm a sucker for Avery Johnson, dude. I think Avery Johnson can be very, very good. We just need a little bit crisper pocket presence and ability to throw the football, and I think we're going to see it. So, how many do you have? Any more?
yeah,
Okay, I have one more. How many do you have?
one more.
And you have just one, right, Bam?
Yes.
Okay. All right, I am going to go to, let me see what the best number is. We're going to go to Fresno State at Kansas. And if you remember last year, we were riding the Jayhawks pretty heavily down the stretch. Okay, let's see. So E.J. Warner's going to be the starting quarterback for Fresno State. Kansas, you got Jalen Daniels back, but a ton of weapons gone. Top 7 pass catchers from last year are gone. I like I like Warner. I think if he can clean up the turnovers, I think he's a quality enough guy. I think it's a decent get from Matt Ince in his first season as head coach. Matt Ince was the head coach for North Dakota State. They won a couple national championships there. He went to USC and was the defensive coordinator over there. Took him from 119th ranked defense to 70th. I think they're going to try to they're definitely going to try to change the style from what we're accustomed to with Fresno. They're going to want to probably lean on the run a little bit more and play better defense and not really air it out as much as we were used to seeing with, what was his name most recently? Mikey Keene. And then before him, Jake Haener. Kansas also has to replace both coordinators. They're going to have an expected 6 transfers starting on the defensive side of the ball. Will Fresno be good? I have no idea. I'm not really expecting them to do all that much this year. I just think with the new faces, the new coordinators, a ton of new weapons, I don't feel confident that Kansas is going to come out and cover a 13-point number week 0. So we're going to take Fresno State plus 13 and see if they can keep it close. It is the new stadium for Kansas, so vibes are going to be high. They're going to be fired up, but I think we can see Fresno stay inside this number. E.J. Warner, for what it's worth, again, if you want to take Pro Football Focus into account, graded out higher than Quinn Ewers last year. For what that's worth. And he's playing on the Miami Dolphins right now. Very poorly. Are you on this?
No.
Okay, well, what's your second play?
We're going to go to Western Kentucky, Sam Houston State. Western Kentucky's playing at home. They're 10-point favorites. Total 61.5. Western Kentucky last year ranked 129th against the run. Only a handful of teams were worse at stopping the run than Western Kentucky. Sam Houston. Not a really good passing team, but they love to run. 52% of their yards last season came on the ground. The quarterback's a big threat with his legs as well. Sam Houston. His defense last year ranked 15th in the nation in total defense. Sam Houston last year was an under team. Now they have 7 or 8 transfers expected to fill roles. Some of their players got poached to Power 4 schools. And Western Kentucky's in the same situation here where they're expecting 8 transfers to be starting on defense as well. So I think there's a lot of questions concerning the defenses. Really, Western Kentucky has a boatload of transfers coming in on the offensive side of the ball. The big one, though, is Maverick McIver from Abilene Christian, quarterback, 294 passing yards per game last year for Abilene Christian, 30 touchdowns. Kind of getting the vibe here that Western Kentucky returns to a high-powered offense after somewhat of a down season last year. A lot of question marks on these defenses, like I said. The offensive seemed to have some stability at quarterback. Wouldn't be surprised at all if this is a poor tackling performance by both defenses and we see some explosive plays. So we're going Sam Houston State, Western Kentucky, over 61.5 points.
Okay. Yeah, I saw the over took a little bit of money. I would lean that way for sure. I would consider possibly laying. I was looking at Western Kentucky possibly going to lay it, but it looks like there's no more 10s available for the most part. So, do you have anything else?
No.
Okay. All righty. Bam, what is your one play for week 0?
Going back to Kansas State game. I'm taking Kansas State -3.
Okay, we'll see if that's good or bad for me. We'll find out. I think it's good, though. I really do. But I also am terrible in week 0. So I don't historically do well week 0. But to recap, I'm taking Kansas State -3, Fresno State +13. You were taking
Kansas State -3 and Sam Houston State, Western Kentucky over 61.5.
Okay, and Bam is riding with me, but we didn't talk about it at all. So it was his pick as well on Kansas State -3. So episode 229. That's pretty much all we got. It's week 0. It's the appetizer. The main course, we're getting fired. We're going to get fired right up next week with a stacked week 1. You got Ohio State, Texas, Clemson, LSU, Bama, Florida State. There's more that I'm not even remembering. But you also have Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You got games all throughout the week. So there's a lot of big games on the horizon very, very soon. But this is the perfect starting point, in my opinion. Episode 229 is in the books. Do you have anything to say before we go?
Nope.
Bam.
Let's go.
Hit the like and subscribe button. And yeah, we'll be back. Y'all have a good one. Who dat?
The house always wins. Play long enough, you never change the stakes. The house takes you. Unless, when that perfect hand comes along, you bet big, and then you take the house. Been practicing this. A little bit. Did I rush it? Felt like I rushed.
That was good. I liked it.